All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for attending. My name is Rachel O'Donnell and I'm from M Agency hosting the webinar this evening. A couple of housekeeping items I just want to go over. If you have any technical questions, please make sure to utilize the chat feature. We'll be taking question and answers at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A at the bottom of the screen. So just to review, chat for technical and Q&A for questions and answers. So thanks everyone, and I'm going to hand it over to Tyler.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon. My name is Tyler Dearman. I am a water quality specialist with Pierce County in our Surface Water Management Division. And my primary responsibilities are looking at water quality in our surface waters. So I was asked to join tonight to talk a little bit about kind of the whys and of why we're doing the septic inspection program and kind of what's driving that and the why here and why now. So let me get this going. There we go. So Pierce County is regulated by the State Department of Ecology under what we call a municipal MS4 stormwater permit, which basically means municipal separate sewer and storm. So that means our stormwater system is separate from our sewer system. And as a part of this permit, it requires all local governments in Washington to manage and control all stormwater runoff so that it doesn't pollute downstream waters, so that the areas where we like to fish, where we like to recreate, where we like to boat, all those things are safe for us to be able to go out and do. And this permit is reissued every 5 years. So our current permit was issued in 2019 and it expires in 2024. So as a part of that permit, there are a number of priority areas that the state has designated, and these are mostly designated for fecal coliform bacteria or dissolved oxygen issues. And these are designated as high priority areas for inspecting any sort of illicit discharges and monitoring our own municipal separate stormwater systems. So our pipes, our catch basins, our ponds, ditches, and things like that. And so as a result of this permit, our priority areas are the areas you see on the screen: Swan Creek, Salmon Creek, Alderton Creek, a couple of the tributaries and the Puyallup, and then upstream in the hills towards Ohop and Lynch Creek. And so those ones were the designated ones in our permit that we have to spend a particular amount of time focusing on. So on the stormwater side of things, where I'm at, we've started a bacteria field screening project. And we have our field crews go out and examine our own infrastructure and look for potential bacteria sources. So places where we're seeing any sort of discharges that we shouldn't expect, anything that's happening where our ponds are needing maintenance, our catch basins are having problems, anything that could pose potential problems to water quality downstream. And so for our side, that is our most important thing, is just protecting the water quality as it moves downstream into the rivers. So as part of this project, our field staff are using mobile geographic information systems to investigate all of our infrastructure. So here you can see kind of what we get on the management side of things, to be able to see where we've done our inspections and make sure that we have done 100% inspection of all of our infrastructure in these areas. So all of the areas that you see shaded have to be completed by the end of the permit cycle in 2024. So that's a little brief introduction on the why. And on our side, we always like to ask that you report any water quality concerns you may see, anything that looks suspicious, and just remember that all the water ends up moving downstream to the places where we like to recreate. So with that, I'll pass it over to Niels, and he can talk more about what to expect from the septic maintenance program.
My name is Niels Nicolaisen with Tacoma-Pierce County Health and their Operation and Maintenance Program in the Environmental Health Division. And I was asked to speak about our septic operation and maintenance inspection program that we're rolling out in these areas: the Alderton Creek, Lynch Creek, Ohop Creek, Salmon Creek, Spiketon Ditch, and Swan Creek that was discussed earlier. I'd like to also take this time to thank Amy Pearl, who's my coworker, who helped me put this together. Very appreciative. So why is septic operation and maintenance important? Well, the goals of Operation Maintenance Program are to make sure the septic system is working properly. The cheapest system you'll ever own is the one that's in the ground right now. We want you to help protect your investment. And regular inspections can help find and correct problems before they become major. This can help you save money long-term by avoiding costly repairs or replacing your system. Want to minimize risk to public health. Failing system can impact your drinking water. Failing system can affect your neighbor's property. And a surfacing system can be a major health hazard to your family, friends, pets. You can imagine surfacing sewage in your lawn, very dangerous. And we also want to protect water quality. Failing or malfunctioning septic systems can impact water quality of marine waters, streams, lakes, and fresh water as well. So what is the process? So the process that we are going to do is you're going to receive notification letters that your septic systems need to get inspected. 60 days prior to the inspection date, you will receive your first letter. Along with that letter will be a list of the certified professionals that can also be found online. It's a list of all the certified professionals that can do maintenance and repairs and inspections on your septic system. Along with that letter will also be a frequently asked questions insert that will go through a lot of the things I've talked about today as well. It's a great tool. I would suggest looking through that. And also on that is a link to the financial assistance that we have available, which I will go over in a little more detail later. A second reminder letter comes 30 days after your inspection due date if you have not already done your inspection. That's just a reminder letter. And then a final notice letter comes 60 days after your inspection due date. That letter has language on it that talks about a decision to record a certificate of non-compliance on your property. Please note, and this is important, this letter does not state that you've already been recorded on, but that you will be recorded on. So you still have time. And that is the time to contact us. If you get a final letter and you hadn't gotten the first letters, or you got them, but you hadn't acted yet, I would highly suggest that you contact us, because we will work with you if you need more time or can't afford it. The main point is we don't really want to go down that road if we don't have to. So please contact us. The notice of certificate of non-compliance is recorded with Pierce County auditors and goes on title of the property. It's somewhat like a lien. It can impact future sales, development of property, and you may have to pay the fee in order to sell or take the loan against the property. I just want to reiterate, it's far preferable to contact us and get your inspection done. The financial assistance form that I spoke about earlier, you may not be able to see this unless you have a large screen. I apologize for that, but I just wanted to mention a couple things about this. The first page and second page is completed by the customer. The eligibility is based on self-certification that the applicant qualifies as low income. There's instructions on how to fill this out. This form is on our website. And again, if you have any questions about how to fill anything out, we will be there to help you. Email us, call us, and we can walk you through this process. Another thing I'd like to point out, which is rather important, is you'll see on, I don't know if you can see this, but on item 5, there are 4 items that can be reduced in price or costs. $125 off your inspection, up to $125 off your riser installation, if that's something you want to do, up to $200 off your tank pumping if it's required or suggested, and up to $500 of minor repairs. And what minor repairs are, if you can think of it this way, anything that you're going to do to your system that isn't going to require a permit. An example of that would be like replacing a cracked tank lid, or crushed D-box, or transport line repair out to the D-box, things like that. Most of your providers, I think, would know what a minor repair is. And again, if you have any questions as to what a minor repair is, or if something you need done is a repair, go ahead and contact us. Other financial assistance and options. There are other financial assistance if you need help with a repair or even a full system replacement. Clean water loans from Craft 3 are available. Those are primarily for larger projects. They would be like full system replacements or repairs that require permits. A USDA rural development loan is available. There's the contact information there. These are also on our website, by the way. Those loans can pay for anything, actually from minor repairs all the way up to full system replacements. And actually, they also offer grants as well that don't need to be repaid. Sewer connections assistance is also available if a sewer is nearby and available for connection. Pierce County Public Works and Utilities Sewer Division provides matching funding to help connect properties with failing septic systems to the county sewer system if you're within their service area and you're eligible to hook up. Another thing I would really like to emphasize and let everyone know is we do offer extensions. So if your letter says you have an inspection due in May, we can offer extensions. We want to be respectful of any barriers people may have, especially financial hardships. So please contact us. We want to work with you to make sure this gets done, but we don't want to cause unneeded financial hardship. So what's the timeline? What's coming up? We will be sending notification letters out for your inspections on May 15th and June 15th. We'll mail about 1,100 letters on May 15th to areas in Swan Creek, Alderson, Ohop Creek, and Salmon. We will mail on approximately another 1,000 letters on June 15th to Swan Creek, Lynch Creek, Ohop Creek, and Spiketon Ditch. And then a third set of letters is also going out in February and March of 2023. Other outreach we're going to be doing in addition to tonight's program is a October 2022 septic workshop. The workshops, I'm assuming, well, I think they're going to be online, but they will include basic troubleshooting tips, do's and don'ts of on-site septic use, and you can get a copy of your records. It's still in planning stages and more information will be coming out. There will be another septic workshop as well in 2023. There will be a septic social plan for 2023 as well. Those are kind of fun. They're held at a private property owner's home. People gather at a home, learn about their septic system, how it works and how it's maintained. And work is presented and done by a local septic system service provider company. We're actually looking for volunteers to host. So if anyone's interested, please contact us. And more information can be found at that link. A lot of what I've spoken about and a lot more information is available there. It's an excellent resource. The financial assistance form and how to fill it out is also available in that link. If you have any questions, there's my contact information. Any kind of questions or emails regarding your operation maintenance, letters you receive, notifications, please contact us for financial assistance, for any kind of extensions you'd like. Please contact us. That's the email and that's the phone number. Thank you. And I will pass it to the next presenter.
Hi, I am Megan Whitten, and I am the on-site sewage permitting supervisor at the Tacoma-Pierce County Health Department. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about what to expect for an operation and maintenance inspection. So the first thing a operation and maintenance company that you contract with is going to do before they come out to your property is they're going to look up what records the health department has on your system. And they're going to go to this website right here, edocs.tpchd.org. And a search screen is going to pop up that looks like this. And you're going to get the most results if you search by your address. You need to just include your street number and your street name. I don't include things like street, road, avenue, or east or west, because that kind of jumbles up the search and it doesn't search very well. So you're going to get the best results by searching, like 123 Smith Street, 123 Smith instead of 123 Smith Street. You can also search by your parcel number. I would suggest searching by that second if you don't find any results on your initial search under your address. We have records that date back as far as the 50s. However, they're not consistent until after probably about 1974. So if your home is older than 1974, there's a strong possibility you can do the search and not find anything on your property, that it just predates our records for your system. But like I said, the first thing an operation and maintenance company is going to do is they're going to go ahead and look up what's called your septic as-built. And a septic as-built is a drawing of how your septic system was installed. So where it is on your property, how big it is, how far away it is from certain things. And it is typically on a site plan. I'll also mention that our older as-built are much worse quality than our modern day as-built. Our modern day as-built are wonderful. They are drawn to scale. They have all the property features, the setbacks, etc. Some of these old ones are done on graph paper and they're hard to read. They may just show a box for the house, where the street is, and where the septic system is. And you don't really know how far away that septic system is from anything or how big exactly it is. They can be challenging, but if you have nothing to go off of, they're a great step in the right direction. Especially, sometimes you just need to know, is it in the front yard? Is it in the backyard? This will help your maintenance company figure out where that is. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to look at the service history for your property to see if you've had previous issues, if there's certain things that you've had issues with before that they might want to look out for. This is all reported on a website called Online RME. It is a company that the health department contracts with that reports all of the septic maintenance results, whether it's been pumped, inspected, whether they've fixed an issue, etc. It should be on this website. So when you type in this web address, Online RME, this search page should show up. You'll see in the box right here, it says Kitsap County. Make sure you select Pierce County. You can search by site address. And again, put your street number and your street name. Don't put east, west, or street or avenue because that does mess with the results. You can also change that from site address to parcel number. You will typically get your most accurate results by parcel number, but parcel number is not always in there. So that is just a secondary option. So once you search for your property, a page like this one over here on the left is going to pop up. And you should verify that it's you, that it's the correct address, parcel number. And then on the left-hand side, there's a little button that says service history. Down here at the bottom of the page is what the service history looks like. You'll see on this property, they had a pumping done on May 4th of 2020. Wow, exactly 2 years ago. And then they had a property sale inspection, which is when you sell your home, you're required to have an inspection for what's called the RSS, Report of System Status process. So they had an inspection done for that. It's worth noting that the inspection that is done for Report of System Status is a valid septic inspection. So if you get a notification and you just bought your house in January or something and you just had the septic system inspected, that's a valid inspection. But so back to the topic of maintenance. Sometimes you see in some of the reports that say you had a deficient report, that you had an inspection in January and there was water flowing back into the system from the drain field. There was like water flowing from the drain field back into the tank. That could be indicative of a wet season failure. That the water table has risen high enough that your drain field's not accepting any more water and it's dripping back into the tank. So they'll look at stuff like that to see if you have seasonal issues where it's really bad in the wet season, but fine in the summer. Things like that are the things that your company will be looking for before they even come out to your site. So they have an idea of what problems to look out for. And then lastly, what should you expect when someone comes out to your home? First things first, I'm sure they will notify you that they're on your property. They will use that as-built drawing, if they have one, to locate where your tanks and drain field are. They are going to look at the type of system you have. I haven't really talked a lot about the type of system you have. The vast majority of you are going to have either gravity systems or pressure systems. The older systems are more likely to be gravity and the newer ones are more likely to be pressure. However, there are also systems what are called proprietary treatment devices. That could include an aerobic treatment unit, which is kind of like a mini sewage plant inside of your septic tank. There are things called Glendon pods. It's an above ground system similar to a mound. There are other systems called an Oscar, which is similar concept. It's an above ground system for areas that don't have a lot of soil depth. And drip irrigation is another proprietary device. So those are the different kinds of devices that are out there and that you do commonly see. But those are all going to be newer systems, like last 15 years or so, most likely on those. But they'll look at the type of system. Each system type has different things that need to be done to maintain it. So that's, again, another reason why your professional is going to look at your records before they come out. That being said, I know one of the things Neil's talked about is you'll be receiving a list of professionals that can do maintenance on your system as part of your notification packet. That list that we have tells you what system types the different professionals are certified to maintain. So for example, you have a system that's called an Oscar system. Not every provider on that list can service an Oscar system, but there will be a check in the box by the ones that can. Now, that being said, all of them can service a gravity system. They can all serve a pressure system. It's those proprietary devices that you do have to have the specific certification in order to maintain those. So when they get to where your system is located, the first thing they're probably going to do is, if you have an alarm or timer panel, go check it out. The alarm usually has a test button on it. You just test it, buzz it, make sure the light works, make sure the buzzer works. The panel, they may open it up, make sure nothing's living in it, like a squirrel or something. Unfortunately, I've seen that kind of thing before. Make sure everything's still in okay condition. The wires aren't ripped out, it's not unplugged, things like that. The next, they'll probably go have a look at your tank. They'll look inside of it. They'll check the water level. The water level, if you've been living in the house full time and the water level's significantly below the outlet pipe, that's a good indicator that something's leaking and that your tank's not holding water properly. They're gonna look if you have an outlet filter. They're gonna pull it out, probably hose it off, clean it, make sure that it is got any of the solids that were on it are knocked off. They're going to look for other issues in the tank, whether it is sludge level. That's going to be a good indicator of whether or not you need to have your tank pumped. Now, probably another good clarifying factor is that just because you're having your system inspected does not necessarily mean your tank needs to be pumped. That is not a necessary requirement. Tank pumping, whether or not you need to have it done, is based on the sludge and scum levels in the pump. And in the tank, not the pump. And the professionals do have a device out there. They typically use something called a sludge judge. It's kind of like a tube that they just stick down into the tank, and it will measure how much solids are in your tank. And once it gets to a certain level, then they'll recommend pumping. And their report will be deficient until it has been pumped. Then the last thing they'll probably do is walk the surface of where your drain field is. They're going to look for ponding. They're going to look for any disturbed areas, like somebody tried to dig part of it up. Sometimes I've seen people who really wanted to plant a tree and they planted it right in the middle of their drain field, which is obviously not a good choice. They're going to look for different plants and stuff around it. You want to make sure that the drain field you only plant things on top of a drain field that have shallow root systems. So grass typically, and then it's not overgrown. We see a lot of drain fields that are completely covered in blackberries. The blackberries may or may not damage the drain field itself so much, but because they're so thick and impossible to traverse through, you can't monitor it. You can't see if there's ponding on the ground because you can't get to it. So they're gonna talk about things like that. So if your drain field is completely overgrown, that's an issue. They're also gonna look if you have any inspection ports that are a part of your drain field. Older ones probably don't have inspection ports, but inspection ports have been around at least since the 1990s. So stuff since then should have inspection ports that they'll pop open, have a look at them, see if there's any ponding at the end of your drain field, like inside the drain field, any other issues that they can see. And if you have further issues, then they'll go more in depth. So say, for example, like we talked about earlier, your drain field is not taking water, it's coming back into the tank. That could be indicative of a few different problems. And so they'll use that as a diagnostic tool and go from there. But that is a general idea of what to expect on any individual system. Now, in the event that you don't have records and you don't know where your system is, they'll most likely, usually they can locate the tank. The tank's usually not that difficult to locate, and usually the drain field is not terribly far from the drain field. Excuse me, not terribly far from the tank, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they can find your drain field because it's the green patch in your yard. The grass is greener over a drain field because it does receive more water and it receives more nutrients. So if you don't have an idea where your drain field is, if you've got one random green patch in your yard, that's a good indicator that it might be over there. But that is all I have for you. And here is my contact information if you would like to ask some more questions.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for that informative presentation. So we'll open it up to question and answers now. If anyone has any questions for anyone that presented this evening, please make sure to put it in the Q&A and we'll start answering. Okay, so the first question we have is, for the inspections, how often do we have to do this?
So I actually answered this in the chat as well, but simple systems like, for instance, gravity, pump to gravity, simple pressure are required to be inspected once every 3 years. That's by state law and local code. More complex systems like Megan mentioned, I think DRIP or Glendon, not Glendon's, but Oscar's, they're required to be inspected once per year.
All right. Then the next question we have is, how much does it cost to get the recording off of my property?
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that earlier. It's quite a lot of money. Currently, it's $783, and it requires you get your inspection done. So if you want to have that rescinded, you would need to provide proof that your system's been inspected within the time frame it's required, and then pay $783. And the other thing that just want to let everyone know, that can go up because the costs associated with removing them from the title can go up. The costs that the auditor, the Pierce County charges, can go up over time. So right now, that's what it is. So.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question is, do all of the professionals with the inspection work with the financial assistance?
On page 3 of the form, which I didn't show because it was been so small you wouldn't be able to see it. On that page, there is a list of professionals that we vetted who have actually agreed to participate in financial assistance. And it's probably, I want to say it's 12 to 15. I don't have it in front of me, but it's those companies who are also on the larger list that's published have agreed to participate in financial assistance. So they should be the companies that you contact if you're going to use that program. Another side note is to make sure that if you're going to ask for financial assistance, that when you fill out the form with us, you get it approved. When you contact them, let those companies know that you're using financial assistance. And they should also know that those costs should be taken off at the time of service. The homeowner does not get reimbursed. We reimburse those companies. So they've agreed to that. So those are another couple of important keys to that process.
Thank you. All right, next question is, what if I pay the recession fee right away, but don't get the inspection done?
Still have to get the inspection done. Yeah, it won't happen. You have to have your inspection done. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the inspections done. In fact, I would get the inspection done, then worry about having the fee or the recorded the title removed. Get the inspection done.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have any other questions for Niels or Megan?
Well, I had a comment that says you won't have to worry about any future increases. That's true if you pay it right away. let it sit too long, it could go up.
Well, I'm not seeing anything else. So I think we could probably break unless anyone has anything else. Amber, Cindy, did you guys have anything else to add before we break for the evening?
I just wanted to add that, you know, we would rather have you put the money from the recording in to get your inspection. You know, there's no point. Our whole goal is to have the systems inspected, make sure they're working properly. You know, we don't really want you to pay the recession fee. We don't really want to record on your property. We just really want to make sure septics are working properly. So we protect your family's health, the public health, and the environment too. That's our real goal.
Oh, we got another question that came in. Does a PC person do the inspection, or do we contact a certified approved company from the list to do the inspection?
No, it's a certified approved company. Does the required inspections for operation and maintenance are done by a certified operation and maintenance professional. That's on that list. That's on our website too.
And then another question is a lien put on property based on initial inspection?
Well, it's called a I'm trying to think of the term now. Notice of let me get the right term here. It's not that technically a certificate of non-compliance. Sorry, and it's put on the property. It is based on the initial inspection due date. However, you've got quite a bit of time. I did mention that you know, the first notification letter goes out 2 months before the required inspection. 30 days later, you get a second notice out 30 days after when your inspection was required. And then another 30 days after that, you get a third notice that says we're going to record. But even after that, it may take a couple months. So yes, it is based on the initial inspection due date, but you know, you can look at that timeline. It doesn't happen immediately. I hope that answers your question. We do give you a lot of time, and we want to give you time because, as Cindy mentioned, the goal isn't to record on people's property. The goal isn't to do that. We just want people to inspect our systems, to take care of them and protect water quality and human health. You know, that's the goal.
All right. Well, if anyone doesn't have anything else to add, then I think we can break for the evening. Once again, thank you everyone for attending the webinar, and reach out if you have any additional questions.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Good night.
Bye.